So I just want to share this, as C.S. Lewis called it, someone who's like a student next to you or someone who's going through a journey next to you can sometimes explain a concept or something about an idea that you find difficult to grapple with much better than someone who has been in the field for a very long time and forgot some of the troubles you have in the early days. So I just wanted to dump that right now. And disclaimer, a lot of the gigs that I have, a lot of the projects that I'm working on right now, honestly, I've been abundantly blessed. Like, just how cool it is for me to be working with literally my heroes, people that I find whose work I've been admiring for a long time, who I have admired for as human beings. I'm really grateful for it. And I don't want to say that if you follow these steps or if you don't, if you avoid some of the things I'll be talking about, you will get where I am. But I just wanted to share things that I wish I had done more of when I was younger. So my main thing with this video is for those of you who want to carve your own path or want to start a career that you can't find many role models for in real life, in your surroundings. I think that some of these tips would be a good place to start, especially given the fact that we have all these new technologies, all these new buzzwords coming out, that you don't know exactly what jobs will be secure and what jobs would be at risk or in danger. So we have a lot of insecurity regarding the future. So someone who's able to be innovative, someone who's able to think and be quick and be very agile is really going to have an advantage looking forward. So my first step would be to be resourceful. Now, this for me has been one of the most important things I've done for a very long time. So an example would be, since I was 15 years old or around 14, 15 years old, I saw a talent show where there was this girl who drew with sand and was just mesmerizing, especially for someone who was watching it for the first time. And it was me, and it was airing in an Arab talent show. So it was Arabs all over the Arab world who, that was their first time seeing something like that. So like, that was amazing, and I needed to do that. So I made my mom get me, she was really helpful with me. She was really supportive. She got me glass and sand, like some sand to start with. And I got a box, like something from our furniture and a light bulb that we had. And I somehow managed to like recreate the set that she had. Yeah, a crappy version, but somehow I was able to work with it. I was able to start practicing with it. And just starting is very important, I think, for being able to go anywhere with a hobby or a skill set. Sand drawing became something that I was able to do professionally later on, in later years, and something I was able to be paid for, something I was able to perform live in front of crowds for, in exhibition openings, in creating short films for people, for organizations. So it all started with watching a talent show. It's something clicking in my mind and going, okay, I would have to make this work. It can be made with cardboard. It can be the stupidest looking setup, but if it's going to get me started, that's the goal. So I want you to approach any skill you want to practice, anything that you fancy, any desire you have in your heart, with that level of motivation or with that level of resourcefulness. If you want to start drawing, for example, you don't need a fancy sketchbook or something like a special paper for it or something. You can start drawing with a ballpoint pen and like a silly, like, the kind of notebooks we use in school, the single line notebooks. You can start drawing with that. Start drawing from life, like seeing the things around you, seeing the form, how it blocks, like how to shape it or add those different elements in a frame, in a single drawing. You can figure out how to do lighting, shading, using just your ballpoint pen, for example. You can use charcoal to start charcoal drawing, for example. You can start on different boxes, like let's say wood or cardboard or anything else that you don't use. You can start with that. Remember that you're training a muscle here. You're training yourself to be resourceful, to not just be able to practice the habits that you're doing right now, but to be able to put things together and be inventive and think about things from multiple perspectives looking forward. So I think that's a very cool exercise, a very cool muscle to exercise and to a very cool skill to have. So I believe you don't need a teacher, you don't need a trainer, you don't need specialized or like proper classes to be good at something. Another thing that I find important is to take inventory of your ideas and your feelings. So no matter what age you are, and let's say you're in school, you think you don't have many revolutionary ideas or whatever, you don't want to talk about you fighting with a friend or you getting mad because of how a teacher treated you or whatever. But write about that. Why not? Like the person that you are today and the person going to be reading the notes are going to feel very different, especially given that really our brains don't stop developing until we reach our mid-20s. So I think it's really cool to be able to track your progress as a human being, track your feelings, track your things that you see, form a pattern in the way you think, in the way you are. And it helps you discover a lot more important things about the world at large. So first of all, you're training yourself, you're training your voice. And it might feel meaningless, but being able to sit still in a time when people just seem to be really distracted, really just be going from one thing to the next thing to the next thing, just dopamine rush after dopamine rush. Being able to sit still, being able to reflect, to just sit with your thoughts is a very cool thing to train yourself to do. And you can start with a single line notebook. Like you can use a notebook like that. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. It doesn't have to be a journal. Or you can use your phone. I'll be sharing a journaling template in this link. And I might make a video specifically about how I journal and how I keep my ideas and have it all classified in dates, which are all in separate months notes. So I'm going to be sharing that journal template here. And if you want explanation on how to use it, I can share that in a future video. But whatever you do, whether it's a digital format, whether it's the written format, I think it's really cool to be able to develop your voice. It also helps with if you want to make writing your career someday or end up in a career or in a situation where you're writing a lot. You're going to have a very honed voice or a refined voice by that point. I think journaling, writing frequently, seeing what works for you, what feels like the most natural way for you to write really helps with this developing your voice. It's really cool to have a voice when you write. It's one of the things that makes our favorite authors stand out, really. The other thing is show your work up front. So what I mean by this is don't wait for the chance to audition, for someone to present you with the opportunity to stand on a stage and show yourself, show your talent. Just get better at the thing you're doing, whether it's writing, programming, making videos, keep doing it. And then don't be a perfectionist. Just start putting it out. Make a YouTube channel, make a blog on Telegram, add the people that you know, things like that, and just start putting out your work. Trust me, a lot of things would be happening through there. You wouldn't just be connecting with people more, forming deeper personal bonds with the people in your life, with strangers, but you might also get the opportunity to work on things that you love through this sharing that you do. And you'll be able to cut lines a lot more often, really, just by being able to have your work up front, have it be out there, and you don't know potentially who's going to see it, who's going to call you one day and be like, yeah, you know what? I think you can do this for us. This was a good sample of what we want, and we want you to do something similar. Don't be very precious. I know it's scary. I know it's something that you would feel insecure about, especially if you don't have many people around you who do the same thing. And it seems like everyone is waiting for a chance to showcase their work. Don't wait for that chance. Like now you can create all of these different venues online and start posting little by little, and it would build up. It would become like a portfolio for you. And this leads me to the point of, especially if you're working in a creative field or you're trying to develop a skill like writing or editing videos, drawing, programming, things like that. Don't start by looking for jobs. At least, okay, this is controversial advice, but what I would say to you is if you're a student, for example, you live with your parents and you are not responsible for supporting any family members or yourself, then I think that it's a good time for you to refine your skills and also to build a portfolio. So I would say don't look for a job, build a portfolio. But building a portfolio, I mean, it's not just a physical, like a portfolio that you submit to a workplace. If it's a drawing that you do, have a dedicated Instagram account for your artwork. If it's writing that you do, let's say, have a Medium blog where you have a niche that you're writing for, a publication that you keep submitting to. And eventually, Medium does pay. So if you have articles that go viral, this can also become something that's a monetized hobby for you. If you're designing websites, for example, start designing websites for free for your friend. Start working for free, or start designing, doing logo designs and stuff for free for friends, for loved ones, for family friends. And then you build a portfolio, you know, like create work that you're proud of and stack it up somewhere. Build a free WordPress site and keep sharing that there, or an Instagram or a TikTok, and share snippets of your process, how you get the programming done, tips about graphic design, tips about writing, how your publishing journey is going. Having that is not only going to help you really get better clients in the future, not just clients who are looking for, okay, we need to do this really quickly, but like clients who've been observing your work for some time and you don't know who can be a client, and going, okay, you know what, when I need a photographer for this event, or when I need an illustrator for this branding work that I need to do or whatever, I'm going to contact this person because they've been doing solid work for some time and they've been doing this in the style that I came to like. And sometimes people don't know what they like until they see it in front of them. So having that portfolio in public, building that, adding to that over time would really help you when you're ready to like actively start looking for jobs, actively start looking for work to do. So yeah, I think it would be better to do that than, let's say, going on Fiverr or going on Upwork or on all of those job hunting sites. Usually, most people don't really think about things like reputation, legacy, when they're young, when they're in middle school, when they're in high school. But if the quicker or the sooner you start putting out work, the more consistently you do it, the reputation thing is going to come naturally. It's going to be a thing that is not just attached to your work, but also to your work ethic, to your consistency, to how much you respect this craft. And then even if you want to pivot a little bit, people would have known about this work, the whole backlog of art or whatever that you've created before. So yeah, I would say go for that. Go for building a portfolio, having a good digital footprint. So that's it for this video. And I hope that you improve and you grow really in every way, that you seek the answers that you're looking for, and that you ask me whatever you wanna know. Have a wonderful day, and I love you. I'm rooting for you. Take care.